How did you find me here waiting for you? Across the multiverse we collide. It's extraterrestrial, our love. Across the multiverse, you and I.
Backboneverse, welcome back to Journey Through the Arrowverse. I'm your host, or one of your hosts, Logan Keithie, and I'll bring in my co-host, the Speedy to my Green Arrow. That is Keithie Langston. How are you doing, Keith?
How dare you? Didn't you call me Speedy last episode? And I was like, how dare you?
Maybe, I think I called you something. Maybe the Tommy to my
yeah. I think you did. You called me the Tom. So all right. So far you're calling me the Tommy and then the Speedy. Next episode, I think you're gonna call me the Moira, and I'm gonna probably drop kick you next time I see you because
the Moira to my Walter.
Yeah, fucking kid. Like, could you at least maybe call me the Diggle to your Arrow? I mean.
You know what? Last time I think I did call you the Diggle to my.
No, you didn't.
I'm pretty sure I did. Actually.
I will tell you this thing. These two episodes. Thea can go fuck. I mean, she is just such a piece of shit. Maybe not the second episode as much, but the first episode, she's friggin' ridiculous. I want to personally drop kick her and put her in jail, but that's just me. So
yeah. I struggled with these two. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit. So
yeah,
we'll get into it obviously, but we do. This is episode 9 of the pod, but we're covering episode 12 and 13 for the show itself. Episode 12 is called Vertigo. Episode 13 will be called Betrayal. But as per usual, I'm covering one, Keithie's covering the other, and he is going to start us out with Vertigo. So. Wherever you want to start, whatever you want to start with.
That is true. So we have episode number 12 called Vertigo, named after the great song by U2. Remember that song Vertigo? I'm just kidding.
Hello, may I please go Vertigo? Yeah. I do remember that.
You remember that?
What? It was a commercial for something. I can't remember. I want to think it was like Apple when it first started getting like really popular in like 06.
Oh my God, was it iPod? Was it the iPod?
Maybe it was iPod.
I think it was the it was. You're right. It was for because remember when they did all the actually.
Only reason I know the song.
Quick sidetrack. So that was the big thing with those iPod commercials where it was in color and it was like the shadow of the person dancing. Yeah. My favorite iPod commercial wasn't even a real iPod commercial. It was from Family Guy when Stewie was doing it and he was doing it to the Warrior. It was like shooting down the walls of heartache, bang, bang. I am the warrior. It's like it was, and then he does the big air guitar thing. It was like, I go, they should have done that for a commercial. It would have been great. But yes, this is not named after that. We'll go into, I think, a little bit once we get through the episode when we start to get trivia about. And yeah, so you can laugh. I said trivia. Trivia. Damn near killed her. But the episode opens up with the Hood. Or Oliver chasing down a drug dealer who is selling the drug Vertigo. The dealer then gets caught and admits that he is being supplied by someone named the Count. Oliver then comes back to the Quiver and he talks to Diggle about his mission now to find the Count. And John reminds him that it is Thea's hearing today and it's coming up in a few hours. Oliver is willing to skip that to go hunt down this Count. And Diggle reminds him that I'm sure that Thea would rather her brother be there to support her as opposed to finding a drug dealer and arresting a drug dealer. We come back to the house where Oliver is with Thea and Thea's mother comes in. There's a little bit of back and forth between the two of them where Thea's still kind of harboring some ill will towards Moira because of the alleged affair that she believes she's having with Malcolm Merlyn. Ollie then comforts her. Thea says, I wish Dad was here. And Oliver says, I'm going to be there. So that was kind of nice, I thought. We go into the courtroom now. And the courtroom scene, where the Judge Brackett, denies the deal that the prosecution has made a plea agreement for Thea, and he basically wants to make Thea the poster child for Starling City's Vertigo problem and essentially throw the book at her. We then cut back to the mansion where Thea's attorney gets to work on the appeal, but warns the family that she may have to do jail time. Thea storms off, still accusing her mother of cheating on Walter. Moira is upset that Thea isn't taking the situation seriously, and Oliver decides to prevent his sister from being used as an example. We then get a flashback where they're on the island, and Oliver is in jail. Yao Fei shows up, and he pleads for Yao Fei to free him, reminding him that he returned for him. Yao Fei simply says he can't and walks away, and that's where we go to the opening sequence where we get the nifty Arrow music. What did you think of these first couple of scenes here?
Yeah, so Thea's obviously, like you said, still pissed at Moira for the alleged affair, as you also mentioned. So she's being really pissy and ignorant throughout the beginning of this episode, of course. But yeah, I mean, that the judge really seems to want to make a name on the Queen name and kind of make an example of Thea to kind of help, get to the bottom of the Vertigo problem. That they have been having in Starling City, because this has been a drug that we haven't had the name of the whole time the show's been going on, but it's kind of been a part of Thea's life throughout the show so far, because they've been thinking like episode 1 or 2 she has like pills that she's has at like Oliver's welcome home party or whatever. So like it's been in the picture, or I mean I assume that's kind of what it was, at least. But we are obviously, she's in some bad situation. But we have the like the opening scene, we figure out that the Count is the guy that's kind of pushing this throughout the city. So, and then Yao Fei, he's seemingly working for the bad guys now. So we don't quite understand what's going on there, but we'll see what happens with that as we go along.
All right. So Oliver, we come back to the next sequence where Oliver's in the police station and he's looking for a vice detective named Detective Hall. We come to find out that it is actually McKenna Hall, whom Oliver knew from back in his partying days. Now, real quickly, McKenna Hall is played by, and I believe her name is Janina Gavankar. I believe that's how you say her name. I know her very much from the show The League. She was the one who played Shiva on The League. Did you watch The League? Did you watch The League?
I didn't. I knew I recognized her from somewhere, but yeah. I definitely watched it. She was
also on such things as such shows as The L Word, The Gates. She was in The Vampire Diaries. She was on that show Sleepy Hollow, which is like one of my favorite shows back in like the whatever the mid-aughts or whatever that it was on Fox.
I watched that too, yeah.
But she was in True Blood, and she was a dime piece in True Blood. Like, she was naked almost every single episode. If I remember correctly, I think she's like a shapeshifter like Sam, and she's like naked almost the entire time that she's on that show. Logan, she is a fucking 11 out of 10. Like, this girl is so hot. She is like the fucking sun. It is ridiculous how hot she is. I forgot that I don't even know how many episodes she shows up on in the show, but I was like, goddamn, pal, she is one of the most beautiful women I have ever laid eyes on. And I say that every time I see her. So I saw her on the television screen and I went, Uchi Mama. I was like, this is fantastic. This already is a fucking 10 out of 10 episode, in my opinion, because she's on it. So just so you know. But anyway,
she is stunningly beautiful.
She is stunningly beautiful. Yes. So that's, and I believe it is Janina. Jesus Christ, Janina Gavankar, I believe.
Mangina, what'd you say?
Mangina Gavankar. So anyway,
Kamini Silva, Commander Kron.
So McKenna. So Ollie basically comes in and he's trying to help figure out a way for them to bring some heat off of Thea by maybe capturing the man. He has a name for her, the Count, She basically says to him, we're aware of the Count. We've known about him for a few months. She gives him a very small file and says, this is all the police has on him. And then Oliver slips it into his pocket as he's leaving the station. Quentin comes in, notices that Oliver is there. He says, what's that all about? And McKenna says, oh, he's just trying to help his sister out of a jam. She also then says to Oliver as he's leaving, I really loved how much you took care of your sister. So it's like, ooh, maybe there's a little bit of a love triangle, or not a love triangle, but a love story coming out here, you know? I know, right? We then cut to a warehouse scene where the Count shows up, and the account is played by the man Seth Gable, who I've actually have seen him in some stuff where he's appeared before. He's kind of like, I think he's a character actor. I'm trying to think of like the big thing that he's been in. I didn't watch, I think he was in that show Salem. I don't know if you watched that show Salem that was on, I don't even know what it was on.
It sounds familiar, but I don't think I watched it.
I think it was on like WGN America. I don't know. It's available on Hulu, and he plays Cotton Mather in that show. But that's like, they think the biggest thing that he's been known for. But he is kind of like a character actor. I have seen him before. Oh, he was on Fringe. I don't know. Did you watch Fringe? I didn't watch Fringe. I didn't like.
No,
it.
I didn't.
Yeah. But he's been a character actor for a while. He's done things like Nip Tuck and Sex and the City. He's had a few appearances. So but he's playing the Count. This character, the Count, and his
brother Chad has a big match this week.
He does it. Well, allegedly, he has a big match this week. We don't really know, right? But yes, so he comes into the warehouse to basically with the man who Oliver had captured earlier in the opening was now here basically under duress. The Count then injects pure vertigo directly into the bloodstream of the dealer from the beginning. And the Count explains to him how this dose apparently creates agonizing pain for hours or days and eventually causes the person's heart to give out. He then hands him a gun with one bullet, giving him the option to either take revenge and shoot the Count or end his misery. We then pull back into the Count's face. You see him, and the man shoots himself. The Count does find it interesting that the vigilante is coming for him. So, interesting little scene here. We now go to Laurel and Tommy's, or Laurel's apartment, where Tommy is basically waking up, and Laurel says, Tommy comes out and says, oh, you're not really a morning cuddler or whatever. And then Laurel says, you apparently don't like to get up to any hour that starts with or that ends with AM. And so, nice kind of douchey way about each other. Thankfully, that ends quickly because we get a doorbell ringing or a knock at the door. Oliver comes in and asks Laurel if she can talk to her father about Judge Brackett, and hoping to see if maybe, he can get her to go a little easier on Thea. Laurel at first doesn't really want to, but then she agrees, you're right, it was the right thing to do. Laurel then goes at night and is talking to Quentin about Thea. Quentin initially refuses to do anything about it, basically saying that she deserves to get what she gets. But then Laurel protests and says that she sees potential in Thea and the young woman needs help, not prison. She then points out the trouble that Sarah had gotten to in the past as a teenager, including an incident of shoplifting, which Quentin made go away. Quentin eventually agrees to make a few calls to help out Thea. So with that, it shows that he's got some kind of a, and I like it. There's a great line where he goes, I don't remember Sarah like that. And Laurel goes, you only remember Sarah the way you want to remember Sarah. And I thought that was kind of cool. Like Laurel defending Thea in that scene right there. And Oliver then goes to his Bratva connections at that auto repair shop that he was in a previous episode. And he basically shows up and says that he wants to get connected with the Count. He wants to invest his money in narcotics now. I guess, I don't know if he was a captain or whoever the guy that was in charge, basically says that he will start a conversation between the Count and Oliver if he does a favor for him. They bring over a man. He asks Oliver to kill the man. Oliver obliges and kills the man in front of Diggle, who tries to stop Oliver, but Oliver had told him earlier to just go along with it no matter what happens. This now leads to another flashback to the island where Yao does bring Oliver over to what seems to be a fight club, an organized fighting circle where Edward is using for unit cohesion. Yao shoves him into the circle, and it appears that they're about to fight. And I'll just end with this here. Back in the present day, Oliver then carries the body of the man whom he seemingly killed and puts him into his trunk. Much to Diggle's dismay, as he is in the trunk, he places his finger under the man's chin and he pops back to life. Diggle goes, "Wow, when are you going to tell me about that?" And Oliver basically says to John that in order not to blow his Brava connection, his plan is to meet with the Count as himself and then follow him to his hideout. So we'll stop right there. Logan, what did you think about this? Now, there was a lot I just gave you here. We had the meeting about Oliver with McKenna Hall and then stealing the file on the Count. We have the Count killing his henchman who failed the city for the moment. And then Laurel and Tommy and their little tete-on-tete about breakfast and AM, I guess. And then we get Laurel and Quentin agreeing to do Thea some good. And then, of course, Oliver and his whole deal with the Bratva. And then the quick little flashback we have of the island.
Yeah, so going back to McKenna, like you said, an absolute dime piece. I might have to check out True Blood now that you said all that. From what you said has me pretty interested. So
I'll get you episode markers for when she's on.
I got you. I appreciate that. But yeah, the Count injecting the pure Vertigo into the bloodstream of the guy, pretty brutal. You know, obviously he's in immense pain. He ends up shooting himself. But yeah, the Count knows that the vigilante is kind of interested in him, so we'll see where that comes the rest of the episode. Yeah, the whole pillow talk with Tommy and Laurel was weird and uncomfortable, and I hated it. Yeah, Oliver asked her for some help. She's happy to oblige because she does like Thea, despite the way that she may feel about Oliver most of the time. But yeah, and then obviously Laurel uses Sarah against her dad, like she seemingly does a lot of the time. Like she wasn't so special, or as special as Quentin kind of has in his head. And then yeah, we kind of have the Bratva come back in here. I don't remember. Obviously, this was a long time ago, but I don't remember them being as involved in these early episodes as they have been. So interesting to see that that's already playing a role in multiple episodes at this point. But yeah, obviously we have the fight circle that, you know, obviously it seems like Yao Fei and Oliver are about to go at it.
Yeah.
And then yeah, Oliver does the trick where he just like puts his finger under his chin and pops him back to life. He then absolutely blitzes him with a punch.
And he does. I forgot that. Yeah.
And then he basically tells Diggle to like take him out of town and give him a new identity and like make sure he doesn't come back because he doesn't need to have guys know that he didn't actually kill the guy.
Right.
But yeah, we'll see what first meet up with the Count kind of ends up like.
Cool. Alrighty. Now we go to let me see. Okay, so now we come to this scene here. Okay, Laurel and this is where I was like, all right, I'm done with Thea. I'm all set. Laurel and Oliver meet and they talk to Thea about her legal situation. Laura explains that Judge Brackett has agreed to 2 years of probation and 500 hours of community service for Thea under the former supervision at the CNRI. Thea refuses to take the deal, and Oliver is furious. After Laurel leaves, Thea says essentially that she wants to go to jail to ruin their mother's life. Angered, Oliver reveals that to Thea that their father is the one that cheated on their mother, not the other way around, and that Robert even admitted before his death and that he wasn't the man they thought he was. Thea is in complete disbelief by this. Moira overhears this, and she is very upset with Oliver. Oliver and John then meet with the Count, or Oliver meets with the Count. John's not there. I guess Diggle's like hiding, I think, right? I mean, he's not.
Well, no, he's there. He's just kind of in the background, I think.
He is. I must have missed him. I only saw him when he pops out to get Oliver later on. But Oliver, they meet with the Count. Oliver claims that he wants to have something for his nightclub customers. The Count reveals that 56 people died to perfect his product. Quentin and McKenna then pull up with several vehicles to bust up the meeting. The Count gets away, and on his way, he injects Oliver in the chest with the pure form of Vertigo. Oliver and John manage to get away. John then mixes up the antidote in the quiver with Leon Yu herbs and gives it to Oliver to attempt to heal him on this. And Oliver is freaking out while this is going on, I might add. We get a flashback where Oliver recalls his fight with Yao Fei. Yao Fei beats him severely, and then he uses that pressure point manipulation, the same one that Oliver used on the man at the Bratva organization, to fake Oliver his death. So we find out that's where Oliver learns that little trick. Oliver then wakes up from his drug state with John, telling him that the Count only got half the dose into him. Oliver realizes that the Count got away, but that they have a sample of the drug, which he injected into him. I might want to add that John had handcuffed Oliver because Oliver must have been thrashing while he was under his induced state there. We get back to the mansion now where Quentin and McKenna are there to pay Oliver a visit. McKenna reveals that she saw him fleeing the scene when they tried to apprehend the Count. Oliver lies and says that he tried to buy off the Count in a failed attempt to see his face. Quentin warns that if they ever spot Oliver at another deal, he'll be arrested. As they leave, Oliver assures McKenna he knows she's just doing her job and thanks Quentin for helping Thea, to which Quentin simply states he did Laurel a favor, still showing signs that he does not appreciate or respect, I'm assuming, any of the Queen family. Moira then confronts Oliver over his recklessness and also scolds him for telling Thea of Robert's infidelity. Thea interrupts and asks why Moira kept this secret from her, as she's old enough to know. Moira explains that she wanted to preserve her daughter's positive memory of her father, whatever his flaws may have been, and Moira never wanted Thea to doubt that he loved her. Thea then tearfully apologizes and reconciles with her mother. She apologizes for accusations and makes amends. Oliver watches the reconciliation and heads upstairs. As he does that, he suddenly collapses, still suffering from the side effects of the overdose. It seems that the vertigo affects him every time he gets into like bright light. I feel like it's kind of right. Like it looks like every time he hits bright light, he freaks out because he's walking up the window and he sees like the stained glass window, and then later on when he's at Queen Consolidated, he sees like bright lights too and everything like that. We get another island flashback, and this time we see Yao Fei dump Oliver into the river in the view of Fears and his men. And that, of course, is he says he's going to do it, and then he dumps him in. We don't know what he does just yet, but we see Oliver fall into off of the cliff into the river and floating in the water as the other men leave. In the present day, we get Queen Consolidated. Oliver and Diggle show up, and Diggle says he should go to the hospital. Oliver says he's all set. He then goes and shows up and sees Felicity, and he says, "Hey, can you help me out here? My friend has an energy drink. He wants to cure hangovers, and I really want to know what I'm putting into my body before I start taking this." And Felicity looks at him, and she's like, "Why the hell is this in a syringe then?" And Oliver's like, "Oh, I ran out of sports bottles." And it's like, Diggle even comments, he's like, "How many of these stupid freaking lies are you going to be telling this poor girl?"
What did she ever do to deserve all of this? Good Lord.
Seriously. Diggle then comes out and says that Felicity came through and that the sample had been manufactured in an abandoned juvenile detention center in the Glades. Against Diggle's wishes, Oliver goes after the Count, and he even does a thing where he holds up a tennis ball, and he says, "Hit this tennis ball." And Oliver can't with the arrow because you can tell he can't focus straight. And then he takes down his arrow and he says, I don't need the arrow. He says it like threateningly to Diggle. I'm glad he didn't try to shoot the arrow because I feel like he would have hit Diggle, because Diggle's literally holding the small tennis, and the tennis ball looked like it was like a ping pong ball. And I'm like, buddy, he's gonna, even if he does,
and his like whole hand was around it.
Yeah, too, he's so, like holding it like he's getting ready to throw it. And I'm like, dude, Oliver's kind of cocky enough that he would try. And I'm like, Diggle would have had like a freaking arrow in his hand. But thankfully he didn't. Cooler heads prevailed and Oliver didn't. But then the Hood physically goes through and fights his way through the Count's men, and he makes his way to the drug manufacturing lab. The police arrive. The Hood then fights with and eventually overpowers the Count by giving him an overdose of his own product. Just then, Quentin arrives and orders the vigilante to release the Count, citing how the city, including Laurel, has started to look up to the Hood as a hero. And the Hood then shoves the Count away and flees the scene. It was also noted that Quentin says, "I always know who you are. You're a murderer," that kind of thing. So what did you think of that? So we get the quick conversation between Moira and Thea. We get the state of Oliver being drugged up at this point. The whole fiasco about the sale with the Count and all that, and the meeting with the Count that went south. And then also we have I guess it's the only real fight sequence we have is Oliver going through the underground lab there for the Count.
Yeah, I mean, going all the way back to the beginning, Thea was an absolute twit when it came to Laurel trying to help her and getting her a good deal through it all. And Thea obviously takes the news of her father being a cheater and not the man that he may have, or she may have thought he was, the way that you would think she would. She obviously continued to blame her mother. I'm kind of surprised that she comes around to it when she does. I was kind of thinking she was still going to be pissed at her mom for a few more episodes, but
right,
they randomly fixed that, tidied up pretty well during these few scenes. But yeah, the exchange goes about as well as I thought. Obviously, I don't know if the cops got tipped off somehow or if they just kind of knew that he kind of dealt in certain places or something like that. But they seemingly know that he's going to be out that night. So, and Oliver gets injected, starts having the convulsions and all the shit that's going on within him. John's able to fix him up with the magic Leon herbs randomly. The fight between Yafei and Oliver, where he obviously chokes him out. We think he's somewhat dead. Obviously, we know he's not, but we'll see how that kind of resolves itself eventually. But yeah, like you said, Oliver kind of had to get chained up to the table due to the probably the convulsions he was having due to the drugs while he was recovering. But yeah, they get the sample, they take it to Felicity. All that bullshit gets figured out, and the way he gets to some of these stories is just hilarious and absurd to me. Just the things that he says to her, it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But then obviously Quentin and McKenna also can get in Oliver's face about being at the drug deal. He tries to lie his way out of it at first, and then they kind of call him out because they know he was there. And he's like, oh, well, and he changes the story, obviously. Moira's pissed that Oliver told about Robert's infidelity and all that, but he did the right thing. He told Thea the truth. It might not have been something that she necessarily needed to know, but it's a way to get her and her mother back on the same page and all that kind of stuff. So as much as it's been a point of contention, they seem to be back on the same page at this point, Thea and Moira. So we'll see how that kind of continues to go. And yeah, Felicity finds where it's being manufactured, and they go bust up the lab, and the Hood kind of fights without his bow, and takes out all the henchmen and stuff like that, and then injects the Count. So he seemingly is subdued, and we're not seeming to have to probably deal with him at any time soon, if ever again. But yeah, the pretty good fight scene. He does take him down pretty quickly, so it's not much of a fight, but it was pretty solid.
I don't think he's much of a fighter,
Oh yeah. He's much more of
he's a drug
talk guy, and if he can get you with the syringe, he'll get you.
Exactly. All right, so we come back. I think that was like the natural commercial break too, so it works out. So we come back with Thea accepts the plea deal and begins working with Laurel at CNRI. Oliver drops her off. He thanks Laurel for her help. McKenna then calls Oliver, informing him that the Count has been arrested and his drug is out of business. Quentin and the psychiatrist observe the Count at a mental institution. Due to the triple dosage of Vertigo given to him by the Hood, the dealer's mind has been warped, possibly permanently. We have a final flashback of the island where Oliver wakes up as he's in the water and he's able to swim to shore. In his pocket, he finds a map that Yao Fei had slipped inside, detailing the location of a hideout. And in present day, Felicity meets with Oliver at Big Belly Burger, and she asks him if she can trust him, to which he says yes. And also she calls him out on all of his stupid lies and all that, which was great. And she then shows him the book identical to his father's that Walter had given him. And she reveals that she did receive this from Walter, who told her that it belonged to Moira. Felicity thinks that the list cost Walter his life. And that's how we end this episode. So final thoughts on this episode before we maybe get into a little bit of trivia here.
Yeah, obviously the big moment of the episode is Felicity showing that she has a copy of the book that obviously Oliver's been kind of working his way through to this point in the show. I love that all these like late in the episode meetings happen at Big Belly Burger.
Yeah,
it's just seemingly the place that all the big stuff happens, or all the like in-depth and like life-changing conversations happen.
Right.
So good for Big Belly Burger.
Yeah,
good to see Thea came to her senses and is going to work with Laurel. Probably some pretty easy work in the grand scheme of things, but Oliver is informed that the Count got arrested. Obviously, we see him at the mental institution, and he is absolutely freaking out. So I'm pretty sure we see him again down the line. So I'll be interested to see how he kind of works his way back. But we'll obviously see that when it happens. And Oliver, of course, is alive on the island. We obviously saw the technique earlier in the episode that he used on the random guy that the Bratva guys wanted killed. And he obviously did what he needed to do to make them believe that he killed them. So Yao Fei kind of did the same thing for Oliver. And he goes to the hideout that we'll kind of see more of in the next episode. But yeah, the whole episode was kind of led to the point where we have this final scene where Felicity reveals that she has the exact same book that Oliver's been kind of working his way through.
Yes. Alrighty, so Oliver, a little bit of trivia. Oliver talks about Anatoly Knyazov, and he ends up becoming a major character in the flashback storylines during season 2 and season 5. So, and he becomes, I guess, a recurring character in season 6. So, spoiler alert, be on the lookout for Anatoly. And that obviously is the guy that Oliver saved his life. And that's why Oliver has been basically made a captain in the Bratva. So we have that. Vertigo was the drug that Thea Queen had used, and the Count was the nemesis that manufactured the drug and pushed it on the streets. The drug induced, among other things, dizziness. In the comic book series, Count Vertigo was a nemesis for Green Arrow. His power, which was artificial in nature, was to cause people to become dizzy so they could not stand, hence what Vertigo really is. Green Arrow was able to defeat Count Vertigo in the comic, even though he too was affected by Count Vertigo's powers. He did this by using an arrow that was equipped with a homing device. Though Green Arrow shot wildly, the arrow honed in on Count Vertigo and rendered him unconscious. So, during the courtroom hearing, it is revealed that Thea's middle name is Dearden. In the comics, Mia Dearden is the name of the second character to take the mantle of Green Arrow's sidekick Speedy. So that was kind of neat that they have that in there. Let me see. No, it's kind of a stupid trivia thing they have there. No, it's kind of dumb, like some of them on there. In a deleted scene, this is kind of cool. In a deleted scene, it is revealed that one of the Bratva tipped off McKenna Hall to the Count's whereabouts when he met with Oliver. So that's how they show up. That actually would have been kind of a cool thing to see, but And then Laurel says to her father, when I look at Thea, I see Sarah's potential and her flaws. And there's a spoiler in there, but I won't say that. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't want to do that spoiler. So, yep. But that's a wrap on Vertigo. So with that being said, I will turn this over to you so that we can talk about Betrayal.
Well, before we go to that, one more trivia. The dealer that Oliver kind of fucks with at the beginning of the episode that ends up shooting himself because he has the vertigo in his system ends up playing a character in another show in this universe later on. I won't reveal who that is or what it's on, but he will return in another show as a different character. But what would you give the episode out of 10 before we go to Betrayal?
It's not a bad episode. I mean, I don't hate this episode. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I'll go 7. I'll go 7 stars. I think 7 out of 10. IMDb gave it an 8.2 out of 10. That's a little high for me. I think 7, maybe even 7.5. I don't know. What do you think?
I'd probably go like 6.5.
Yeah.
I didn't think that. I mean, he has kind of the mental warfare and the chemical warfare, but I didn't think this baddie was all that convincing. And obviously, he gets taken down pretty quickly. And
yeah,
like you said, Thea's kind of super annoying in this episode for the most part. So, it wasn't one of the stronger ones, I would say. Yeah. But you're gonna have those every once in a while. So, I would probably go like 6.5 if I had to give it a rating. But like you said, we'll go from that to Betrayal, which is episode 13 in the series. We open with Cyrus Vanch, a gangster incarcerated for drug running, human trafficking, racketeering, and murder. He is released from Iron Heights prison on a technicality, and his girlfriend Vivian picks him up. The two then visit Cyrus's lawyer, George Wolfman. Cyrus accuses George of botching his trial, leading to his incarceration. George cites the vigilante taking down Frank Bertinelli and China White, and the Huntress murdering Zishan as contingencies that couldn't be anticipated. Cyrus hugs him in understanding, claiming that all is forgiven, then stabs George with a switchblade and appropriates the mansion as his own. We then go to the Quiver. Oliver shows Diggle the notebook that he got from Felicity. Diggle finds it suspicious that Moira would have a copy of Robert's list, but Oliver attempts to write it off as a coincidence. Diggle then understands Oliver wanting to believe that his mother is innocent, but the evidence is suggesting otherwise, especially Walter's recent disappearance. We then go to Leon Yu, using the map that he stole from the that he was given basically from the mercenary camp by Yao Fei. Oliver comes upon the remains of a downed cargo plane as he attempts to loot some supplies. An Australian man in commando gear drops down from a hole in the ceiling and holds a sword to Oliver's throat. Oliver tells him that Yao Fei him to come to this place. We then go back to present day at the police station. Quentin and his commanding officer, Lieutenant Pike, are arguing over Quentin's recent change of assignment. Quentin then insists that he is getting close to catching the Hood, but Pike notes that the vigilante has done a lot of good in recent months and demand for his capture is beginning to wane. So before we move on from there, what did you think of those few scenes?
Sorry, I was on mute. No, I like the opening sequence. That guy's a dick. The the dude that comes and gets out of prison and then murders the dude immediately. I was like, but kind of a cool way. Pulls him in for the hug. It's almost like a very mafioso type of way. I knew it was you, Fredo. Mwah! And then he fucking stabs him. I kind of liked that. But we're gonna see who this big baddie of the week is. But seems like he's somewhat related to the ongoing crime family drama that we have within Starling City. So interesting on that. I'm looking forward to seeing who this Australian man is dropping in, seeing what he's going to be doing on the island. So the flashback sequence already seems like it's going to be better this week than it was last week. So I'm looking forward to that. But it is funny with like this book, the list, so to speak, and that Moira has it, but it makes sense. It makes sense when you get into the later episodes and you really start diving into like what the hell is the thing called again? Like
The Undertaking.
Yeah, The Undertaking. Yeah, I almost called it The Expanse. And I'm like, no, that's a sci-fi show. But it's like once The Undertaking happens, you start to realize like that everybody that's involved in this is going to have like basically this similar list and everything. So yeah, it kind of makes sense there.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously Malcolm Merlin and Moira have discussed said list before in their conversation. So it's obviously something that whatever organization or group of people that they're working with or for or whatever you want to say, have some hand in. But we'll learn more about. I mean, obviously, some of our characters will learn more about what the plans are, or kind of who's involved with the stuff that's going down with the quote unquote undertaking. So, but we go to Moira from there. She is getting ready to leave the Queen Mansion when Oliver subtly tasks her about the notebook. He claims to have looked up the names online and discovered that they are not all good people, and most of them are bad, honestly. Moira tells Oliver that prior to his death, Robert kept a list of people who owed him favors. She reminds him that Robert kept many secrets from the family. She proceeds to destroy the notebook, throwing it in the fireplace, citing that Walter's disappearance as proof that the only way to keep the family safe is to stop asking questions about the book and just asking general questions about stuff like that in general.
Just shut up.
Just stop asking fucking questions.
Listen, everybody that talks about this fucking dies, okay?
Just be and live and just stop.
Just run your stupid nightclub and sell your fucking speed drug that you want to get.
Oh man.
Anyway.
We then go to Thea. She starts her she kind of started in the previous episode, but she continues her internship with Laurel and is introduced to Anastasia, who is on pro bono sabbatical from her high-paying law firm. Anastasia informs Laurel about Cyrus's recent release from prison. Laurel protests, but Anastasia, District Attorney Kate Spencer, is adamant that there is nothing that they can do without new evidence. As she plans her next move, Laurel gets a call from Tommy inviting her to join in a sampling from some chefs that he's having to audition for the nightclub.
Ugh.
Laurel says that she has to call someone and they'll go out together. She says she kind of commits to it, but kind of not at the same time. So we'll see what kind of goes on with that later. Oliver then returns to the Quiver and tells Diggle about the destruction of the notebook. Diggle sees it as confirmation that Moira is hiding something and says if it were anyone else, Oliver would be donning the hood and hood outfit and confronting them. Their conversation is interrupted when Laurel calls Oliver's other phone, I will say. Laurel tells him that she needs evidence that will put Cyrus back behind bars. Oliver points out that he doesn't gather evidence, but Laurel insists that the hood is the only one who can help her. As Oliver leaves to help her, Diggle asks if he is just using this as an excuse to run away from the facts about his mother. Oliver refuses to dignify that with a response. We go to a tech named Kelton. He informs that the bug, the plant phone, or the arrow phone, we'll say, has gone off. He's confirmed that Laurel is meeting with the vigilante. Quentin then heads to Frank's office, saying that if there is a task force, that he wants to be on it. So, what did you think of these few scenes? before we move on.
I mean, they try to crowbar in this Tommy and Laurel relationship that just, I've noticed that like the last few episodes, like their scenes are just so awkward. Like the best scene that they had was the one with Malcolm where he's just being a total dick. And it's like, other than that, every other scene with them just seems so forced. And I get it. Like they're trying to like start this, showing this relationship that it's so silly. And it's kind of like I remember now, and I remember feeling at the time like, oh, when is this going to be over? And then when it finally happens, you're just like, oh, thank God. Like, it's just, I don't know. And then I'm like, when they start adding in new people, like Anastasia, it's like, I'm on pro bono sabbatical. Like, oh, shut up. Like, it's just, some of the side stories are just annoying, to be honest with you, like, but I mean, yeah, I like all the other stuff. Like the stuff with Quentin's really interesting. Like, I like that you could tell that he wants to nail like the vigilante because he wants to get rid of him. But then in the same sense, it's like he reluctantly, you can tell he likes what he's doing. Like, I feel like he likes what he's doing,
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's almost like, I feel like him saying he wants to be on the task force is so he can kind of have like one hand on the wheel type of thing, if they're going to be going off on trying to get rid of the vigilante. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Because obviously the kind of head guy thinks that he's doing some good. So
yeah,
you would think, maybe Quinn could kind of come around to the idea, but we'll see how his interception of the meeting goes here in a little bit. But we go to Cyrus. He's with his girlfriend, Vivian. He says without China White and Frank Bertinelli in the picture, there is a power vacuum in Starlink City's underworld, and he plans to be the one that fills it. He plans to do something spectacular to earn the respect of the other gangs in the town. While they are talking, the Hood sneaks into Cyrus's mansion, takes out a few guards, and ends up shooting a transmitter arrow into a wall near Cyrus. He hears a little bit of their conversation. Cyrus eventually sees the arrow and pulls it down and tells Vivian that his plan of getting rid of the Hood as part of his kind of takeover. We then have Laurel and Tommy. They are preparing for their date when Laurel gets a call from the Hood. He tells her that he has evidence on Cyrus and to meet him at the Winnick building. Meanwhile, Quentin is listening in and then tells his task force that they are to use rubber bullets, so Laurel will remain unharmed if they have to fire. They must do whatever it takes to capture the Hood. As he prepares to go, Lucas warns Quentin that Laurel won't be happy when she learns that her father used her as bait, but Quentin insists his daughter disobeyed his orders to stay away from the vigilante in the first place. Meanwhile, Laurel tells Tommy that she has some work to take care of and will meet him in a couple of hours at most at the tasting. We then see that Moira's regular chauffeur calls in sick, so Diggle is going to take his place for the time being. Moira has him drop her off at a restaurant. Once Moira goes inside, Diggle follows her, only to discover that she is attending a friend's birthday party. When Moira asks why Diggle is in there, Diggle lies that he was looking for a restroom. We then have Laurel meet the Hood on the top of the Winnick building, and he gives her a recording that he made of Cyrus's plans. Suddenly, Quentin and his men storm the roof, and the Hood uses Laurel as a shield. After giving her a whispered apology, the Hood leaps off the roof to the patio below and ducks into the building. Quentin recklessly charges after him and absolutely takes a huge bump to the ground, where I'm not sure how he didn't break his legs and how he gets back up and keeps running. But the Hood kind of knocks him out cold and makes his escape. So before we go from there, what did you think of these few scenes?
I mean, this is good. Like, this is a good kind of continuation of like character development and character building on here with Cyrus. And then also, like, I don't remember China White being taken out.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Do you?
They act like she's gone, but I think she just kind of disappeared. They had the big brawl at the Bertinelli mansion.
Yeah,
So,
and I didn't think that like she significantly got like knocked out and like under capture or anything like that.
Maybe she just disappeared when a lot of her men kind of got taken out. So she's just not in the picture per se, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that makes more sense then.
But I mean, that's what he's saying. Like he's saying that they're just, obviously
there's a power vacuum, so that makes sense there. It is, but I mean, I like that character development of him. It's interesting to see where they're going with this kind of thing, But I mean, the task force stuff is interesting. Laurel, getting pissed off about all that, like, getting pissed off that Quentin was using her, and then, as we come to find out later on in the case, but and then obviously that meeting on top of the Winnick building, which is kind of interesting, but I don't know how that happens. It's just not having broken legs, broken back, broken everything.
I mean, it significant stories amount of falling. Like, I don't know how he's not like either dead or just completely broken.
Can't go to school and learn how to fall off a building.
But apparently, he learned to fall off a 20-foot building. My God, Quentin just took a bump of his life.
A bump of a life, but not bad too for Quentin, right?
Yeah, not bad. He got right up. I mean, I guess adrenaline takes you a good place, but
yeah. That's what Mick said. He didn't even feel the chair knock him out and knock out his food.
Exactly. But from there, we go to the precinct. Laurel is pissed at her father for being manipulated. When Quentin reminds her that she disobeyed his orders, Laurel points out that he bugged the phone after warning her as he wanted her to contact the Hood. Laurel warns her father that his obsession with the Hood is leading down a self-destructive path, just like after Sarah had died and her mother had left. Quentin tells her that he will need the vigilante's phone back. Disgusted, Laurel slams it down the desk and walks away. We then, however, tell Diggle about the ambush. Diggle suggests that Oliver cannot see straight with either I just tried to remind their names. Laurel or Moira.
Moral
and Laura.
Moral and Laura.
He has been keeping up with Moira and kind of keeping her under surveillance, being her chauffeur for the seemingly week, I guess. Because someone within an unbiased perspective needs to keep an eye on her. Oliver is kind of pissed about this and kind of disapproves, but Diggle convinces him that there is nothing wrong with driving her around for a few days. Laurel tells Tommy about her father, how her father used her as bait to entrap the Hood. Tommy kind of agrees with Quentin and disapproves of her meeting with the Hood at all, expressing that even if the vigilante had helped her, he's still a murderer. Tommy says he can sympathize with Laurel over the fact that someone close to her has been lying. We then go to the next morning, and Cyrus is watching a news report on the failed sting against the Hood when Vivian informs him of a tip that she received from their mole in the police department. The vigilante is working with an attorney named Laurel. Meanwhile, Tommy visits Oliver at the Queen Manor and tells him what happened with Laurel. Oliver is surprised that Laurel is lying to Tommy, and Tommy points out that Laurel has always been intrigued by the bad boys like the vigilante, as we know for sure with those doomy eyes from one of the previous episodes.
That is true.
Oliver trying to reassure Tommy, he advises Tommy to fix things with Laurel before it's too late. We then go to Leon Yu. The commando tells Oliver that he has been working with Yao Fei for months, trying to find a way off the island. They found the airfield, but Yao was compromised and forced to work with fires. The man gives Oliver an Najado and admits that he'll need someone to help him take the airfield now that Yao Fei is kind of under Fire's command. However, Oliver is surprised to have his back. He needs to make sure that he can cover it. The two kind of spar with the swords, with Oliver obviously being overpowered super easily. And then Oliver insists that he's no soldier and that he only killed the mercenary by accident and ran when Yao told him to. Disgusted, the man knocks him unconscious with just one punch. So, what did you think of these few scenes?
I'm trying to remember who the guy is. I forget who the guy is. The Australian there. It's not said anything yet, right?
No, he will unveil his name towards the end of the episode, I believe.
Yeah. So, no, I mean I like this. I mean, this is a good flashback. This episode's good for flashbacks. The last one was kind of like iffy, but this one's pretty good. I like this thing. I like this what they're doing, like the sparring and everything like that. It's true. Like Oliver's still like we have to remember. Even though he's such a badass in present day, he's such like a big pussy in the past. Like he's still
yeah. I mean, he was still a pretty boy. He had no reason to kind of have to know how to defend himself. The only thing that would have been fun, I feel like, is if like we had found out that like Oliver was like a fencing genius or whatever. You know, like he had taken fencing because like that sounds like something that like rich kids would take. You know, and then so he knows how to fight like with a sword. But I guess no, Oliver was just a straight up, just useless bratty adult, I guess. So yeah, I guess that's what we got there. You know, kind of, everything did to him, everything kind of done for him. So, he never had
Laurel freaking out. That seems pretty par for the course. Tommy getting pissed at her is pretty par for the course. Like, you know, he doesn't want her hanging out with that guy, but. Probably more along because of the doomy eyes, as you said. You know, he probably knows. Tommy knows he's going to lose. He's going to lose Laurel to the Hood sooner rather than later.
You think if they did it and he still is in the Hood costume that he would wear just the hood and nothing else?
I asked you something like that, didn't I? Didn't I pose that question to you and then I posed it to our friends? I was like, yes, because we asked Tim, we were like, has there ever been an episode or has there ever been an issue of a comic where like the person had a relationship with the woman? So in this case, like Oliver had sex with Laurel, allegedly. I'm assuming they had sex before the whole boat mishap. And then if he has sex with her as the Hood, is she going to be like, wait, this guy's penis curves the same way as Oliver's does? Like, you think she's going to notice? I mean, I said the only time I ever remember it ever coming out is at the end of the first Spider-Man when he kisses Mary Jane at the funeral. And she kind of, as Peter's walking away, she's like, that guy's kissed me the same way as the Spider-Man kissed me, except instead of it being right side up, it was upside down or whatever. So I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. That might be fun. I should try that the next time I'm getting freaky with somebody, putting a hood on and seeing if it makes. You know, and let me not do that because that sounds like I'm trying to like rape somebody. Let me not do that.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Sounds dangerous. I think I'm going to stop. So no,
you will be eviscerated by Schiff for that comment. I'm sure.
I'm sure Schiff's gonna. Yeah, Schiff's already gonna. Schiff's gonna have them put a blue dot over my house like tomorrow. So
we'll hear his comments within a few days. I'm sure.
I'm a registered SA now, according to Schiff.
Well, moving on from there, we go to the night. Laurel is leaving an apology message for Tommy when someone knocks at her apartment door. She thinks it's going to be Tommy. She answers it, and it's two of Cyrus's men that break in. Laurel manages to kind of fend them off for a little bit, so she has some kind of fighting training that we haven't seen her do or anything like that. But she seemingly has been doing some kind of self-defense. But Cyrus eventually steps in and tasers her unconscious. We then have Diggle drop off Moira, who claims to be in a meeting with her accountant. Once she goes inside, Diggle follows and sneaks into a supplies closet next to the office. Using a listening device, John overhears Moira talking to Malcolm. Obviously, Diggle doesn't know who it is, but we know that it's Malcolm's voice. Telling him that she's made sure that Carl Ballard won't interfere with the undertaking. Yes. Malcolm tells Moira to get rid of the wreckage of the Queen's Gambit, saying that there is no need to look for evidence of sabotage, even though Moira is sure that it happened. Malcolm's bodyguard then comes into the closet to see Diggle and asks what he's doing here. John claims that he was looking for a place to smoke. He even has like cigarettes on hand just in case he got caught doing something like this, and shows the bodyguard a cigarette lighter, which was substituted for the listening device that he obviously had in his hand before he walked in there. So pretty sneaky by Diggle there. You got to like that. We then have Tommy return to Laurel's apartment. He finds it in disarray, obviously, and discovers the hood's transmitter arrow stuck in the wall. He takes it to Quentin, and then they play a message that is a recording from Cyrus, telling them to send the hood to meet with him, or else he will leave pieces of Laurel all over Starling City. Quentin realizes that only someone in the squad could have overheard his earlier conversation with Laurel about her work with the hood. He tells Tommy that he can't trust his own men, and he has to make a call. Diggle then plays Oliver the recording of the conversation between Moira and her contact. I feel like when the scene happened, it was Malcolm's voice, but when he plays back the recording, it's kind of like hoodified, like on the hood phone, it's like, "Hey, I'm the hood."
Yeah.
Laurel, just tell me what you need. I felt like it was kind of muffled and like digitized or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened there, but he plays the voice. Obviously, you can't tell that it's Malcolm, but you can clearly hear Moira's voice. Oliver is shocked that the accident with the yacht was no accident. However, he insists that Moira couldn't have been involved. Diggle doesn't believe it and figures that the recording shows that she's involved somehow. They're interrupted when Quentin calls Oliver's arrow phone, obviously. He then asks the hood to help him since Cyrus kidnapped Laurel, and he's the only person that he thinks can help him in this situation. We then go to Leon Yu once again. Oliver awakens to find that he has been tied to a chair. The commando reiterates that he needs someone to help him retake the airfield. Oliver is too weak to be any use to him. He plans to kill Oliver so he can't be captured and reveal his location to Fires. Oliver finally injures his hand to pull himself free of the ropes. He then punches his captor. Surprised and impressed, the man introduces himself as Slade Wilson and admits that Oliver might have some fight in him after all. So before we move on from there, what did you think of the introduction of Slade, or again, getting his name and kind of all the stuff that happened before that?
Yeah, I mean, this is like he's the greatest. It's so funny. Like, I don't know why. I forgot that he's not the original Deathstroke in this. I don't know why I thought he was. He's not, though. And Slade Wilson's so fucking awesome. Manu Bennett. We talked about him. We talked about him before, but he's so awesome in this. But yeah, I don't know. Like, watching it again, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, isn't he the first guy? And he's not. And that's where it's like, oh yeah. So yeah, no, Manu Bennett's the best. Like, I wish that guy would do more shit because he's such a good actor too. But I don't think he really does a lot, actually. I think he went back to, I don't know, New Zealand, wherever the fuck he's from. And he's like back there doing shit back there again. But he's so huge. And it's funny because I don't want to spoil it for anybody that may be listening to this, but I mean, yeah, like, he ends up being massive in this show. So yeah, it's a big to do. I'm very excited for this. I love this guy.
Yeah, he is from New Zealand. You were correct on that. I feel like I've seen him in something else. I want to say he's in some kind of like action movie that I've seen before. I'm gonna try.
Well, he's in The Hobbit, and he plays like he's like the main. I don't know what that guy's name, like Gorg or whatever the hell his name is. Like, he's not like he's not a human in that. He plays like one of the orcs or whatever. But like, yeah, it's kind of cool. Like, you know who he is and that, because he's like the main bad guy in that movie. But yeah, he's totally CGI or motion capture or whatever. But yeah, no, I'm trying to think what else has he been in? Come on.
So I'm not defeating certain allegations by revealing what I know him from, but he is one of the henchmen in the Marine with John Cena in it. So that is the other thing that I know him from. I knew I had seen him in some kind of action movie, but
is he a bad guy in that?
Yeah, he's like So the main bad guy's Robert Patrick, and he has like two like main henchmen.
I get Robert Patrick.
Yeah, it's him and is the big black guy. I don't know what actor plays, but he is one of the like main henchmen. And John Cena takes him out within.
It's funny.
Movie.
In the movie, his name's Bennett.
Yeah.
That doesn't bode well. That's like how Tony Danza's name was always Tony, and everything he was in because he wasn't smart enough to be named anything else.
Yeah, I always wondered that. Like, are people like too stupid to answer to different names? Is that why they don't get named other things in shows? Because I feel like that happens with enough people to where I kind of wonder something like that. But yeah, other than like you said, he's the Hobbit, and like I said, the Marine, and this show, kind of all that he's done that's like really lasted anything or anything like that. So obviously, he'll be on the island here with Oliver for the rest of the season, and he'll be a big part of the show going forward. So we'll see what Manu Bennett as Slade Wilson will do for us going forward. But we go from there. We have the Hood meet with Quentin on a roof. Quentin admits that he hates everything that the vigilante stands for. However, because there is a security leak in the precinct, he has no one else he can turn to. The Hood states that Cyrus's mansion is too heavily fortified to take it on alone and tells Quentin that he'll have to help him. At the mansion, Cyrus warns Laurel that her time is running out and he has trained men placed around the house. He's unaware that the Hood is already on the grounds, taking out the men in ones and twos. Meanwhile, Cyrus informs Laurel that he's confirmed that the vigilante always carries 24 arrows, and he has 25 men armed with automatic weapons. A guard captures the Hood, and then he runs out of arrows and brings him to Cyrus. Cyrus orders his men to kill the Hood, but Quentin arrives, kills the last man, and prepares to shoot Cyrus. However, the Hood reminds Quentin that he's a cop and not a vigilante. Quentin gets control of himself and punches Cyrus out while the Hood slips away. Quentin takes Laurel back to the station to make sure she's okay, then offers to drive her home. However, Laurel refuses as she can't trust her own father. As Laurel goes to the car, the Hood steps out and asks if she's okay. Laurel assures him that she is, and states that her father has the phone back. Laurel tells the vigilante that she knew the risk, but the Hood refuses to take them anymore. As Tommy runs up, Oliver slips into the shadows, or the Hood slips into the shadows. Laurel apologizes to Tommy for lying to him, relieved that she's alive and unharmed. Tommy hugs Laurel, assuring her that nothing else matters as long as she's okay. We then go back to Leon Yu. Slade warns Oliver that he'll kill him if he ruins his escape attempt, but Oliver points out that if he's dead, then Slade will have nobody to help him. When he asks what they should do next, Slade tells him to pick up out a weapon from his supplies. When Oliver goes through them, he finds a black and yellow Deathstroke mask, assumes that Slade was the man who had tortured him. Slade reveals that he was a member of Team 7, an elite division of Australian Special Forces, hence the unique mask design. Him and his partner/friend were sent to the island to extract Yao Fei, but his partner/friend ended up going rogue. It was his ex-partner and former friend, not Slade, tortured Oliver and captured Yao. We then have Oliver reviewing Diggle's recording once again and is devastated to learn of Moira's complicity in his father's death. Diggle then suggests the blind trust can be dangerous, and they figure that they need to know what the undertaking is and how Moira is involved. Oliver then suits up and says he's going to talk to his mother. Moira is at holding a meeting in her office when the Hood swings through the window and takes out the guards. He then turns to his mother and says, Morphine, you have failed the city.
Dun, 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 dun.
So, and then we get our kind of ending kind of sound and all that kind of stuff. So, based on the fact that he says fail the city to end the episode, that is not as prominent of a phrase in the early goings of this show as much as I thought it was. So,
same.
I would have thought that he says it a lot more often. Maybe he does the rest of the season, but he very much has not said it all that often so far. I thought it was much more of a weekly, for the first season at least. I thought it was much more of a weekly, like, bad guy every week, and then that's where he says to fail the city. But I guess you're right. It's not, even if it's like the easily beatable goon at the end or something like that.
Yeah. And I think it's because I confuse with because the first couple seasons of The Flash, it's very much like he fights the rogue of the week, Yeah. And so it's like, I feel like I thought that was the same with Oliver, but I guess not. They did a lot more world building in the first season than I remembered. So that's kind of one of the fun things about doing this project, is that it's like, it's bringing back all that stuff that we, may have forgotten. So yes. Yeah.
I mean, I thought he killed a lot more in this early going too, and I would have guaranteed he said fail the city every week. So
he's only killed 2 people. I don't even feel like he's killing anybody.
Yeah, I really felt like that was kind of how he took out the people on the list.
Yeah, I thought he was killing everybody at the first. He's not.
Misremembering for sure.
We're misremembering.
Again, this was 14 years ago when this came out.
That is true.
So,
that is true.
But did you have any thoughts about the kind of last 4 or 5 scenes there?
No, I mean, we said it. I mean, I think it's obviously the stuff with Slade is great. You find out that the Deathstroke is his partner. That's kind of cool to have that kind of reveal. I'm just, like I said, I'm looking forward to having him in more and stuff like that. It'll be fun. It's good that they've kind of revealed that Moira is complicit in all this nonsense. So that's good. I like that. And it was a good "you failed the city," which was kind of cool. I like that at the end. So
yeah, because he really fucking just blasts through the dam. He really blasts through the window there and makes a big impact. But yeah, that'll wrap up the episode. Not a ton of trivia on this one. This is the first episode where we see Oliver run out of arrows.
Yes.
So that'll happen just a couple more times throughout his existence in this universe. And the other one is this is the debut of Slade Wilson, who will become a major / recurring character throughout the rest of the show. So did you have any other trivia or anything like that? Or
I did not. You hit the 2 things right off the nail on the head.
I got you. All right. Well, what would you give this episode out of 10 before we get to some awards?
I mean, this one I think I liked better than the other one, so I'm gonna give this one an 8.
Yeah, I think I like this one a little better than the last one, so I'd probably go 7. I gave the last one 6.5. So I would go 7 on this one. Still a little less than the better ones that I think we've seen, but I think it was definitely an improvement from the previous one. But we will go to some awards real quick. MVP, who would you go with on this one?
Both of these episodes. I mean, I guess we have to go with Oliver again, just because Oliver's pretty badass in both of these, episodes there. So I would say Felicity, but Felicity doesn't do a ton in this episode, as she's kind of real cute in the last one. But I'll say Oliver. I'm going to give it to Oliver.
Yeah. If Diggle did a little bit more in that first episode, I might have gone with him because he's pretty impactful in the second one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Oliver's the king of this week. He's going to win it more often than not, just because he's a badass and he's awesome. But there'll be weeks where someone else sneaks in there. So
you have failed this city.
LVP, who would you go with on that one?
I'm still going with, just because she sucks so much in 90% of the first episode, I'm gonna say Thea. Thea sucks.
Yeah.
I hate Thea.
I'm
Tommy's close.
Yeah.
Just because
Yeah,
again, every time he appears, he's like a douche. But you know.
Yeah, I would go with Thea just because of her absolute annoyance and
Yes.
being an absolute ass in that first episode. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you kind of pointed it out, but Tommy and Laurel's like anti-chemistry, despite the fact that they're supposed to be like lovers and like boyfriend and girlfriend that really like each other. You can so obviously tell Laurel wants to be with anybody else, but she knows that, like,
anybody else.
He's as good as she can get right now.
Yeah.
So,
is anybody here? Anybody?
Can anybody else show me attention?
Yeah.
That's why she wants to do the hood so bad, because she was like,
Oh, yeah.
anybody to get away from Tommy.
Anybody except me.
I have to be someone else. I have to be something else.
From there, I think honestly these next two awards might share a scene or share, something like that. But
Okay.
Best scene, you could go with Slade being introduced and him kind of showing up and stuff like that, and that could be the most important as well, because obviously he is a very important character in the rest of the way. So would you go with anything else for either of those awards, or would you kind of give that to both?
I would probably combine all three of the flashback scenes that he's in. He's in three. They do three, right?
Mm-hmm.
They do the three with. Yeah, I would do. I would do all the flashback scenes with Slade. Yes.
Yeah.
Not only that, they're awesome scenes too. Like they're good. They're good. Like good dialogue, good action sequence. Good tension, suspense, all that kind of stuff. So I would go with those.
Yeah, and it immediately kind of introduces you to like what he's about and how much of a badass he is, and all that kind of stuff. So
handsome, I might add.
Yeah, he is a good-looking fellow for sure.
Got that Maori blood in him,
He's got that Kiwi in him.
The Kiwi.
But yeah, that'll wrap up awards. A pretty good couple of episodes. Maybe not our strongest, but definitely solid ones at the end of the day. But before we get out of here, what would you like to plug?
Oh, please listen to everything that we do here on the Backbone Network. Listen to everything we do on the North-South Connection Podcast Network, as well as Place to Be Nation. Check out our YouTube, where you can see me. Can Keithie take the heat? Taking it easy with Keithie. I did a special episode with actually got a lot of traction. I think I got some praise from our good friend Ben, who said, "I'm glad to see somebody picking up the mantle of interviewing independent wrestling." So we'll see if I can get that to be a thing where I can, start interviewing people more often, and not only independent stars, and maybe I can squeeze out a big name here and there. So we'll see. But yeah, just listen to all that, and then of course listen to me with my best friend Petey Winson on GFA Live.
I thought you were going to say your best friend, Sean Kidd. How dare you?
Believe me, I have to wax his carrot enough when I talk to him and pod with him on our shows. So I'll save that for here.
Yeah, definitely check out Keithie's stuff. He's one of the best. So check out all of his stuff. As for me, we do another pod together. We do the movie education of myself. We just did Better Off Dead. That was an interesting one. I let you and Tim kind of wax poetic about that movie, as I just played the background character for a little bit.
Yeah, you didn't like it as much as I had hoped, but that's all right. I know not every one of them.
I didn't hate it, but it wasn't.
You didn't hate it, but you didn't love it.
It wasn't one of my favorites.
No, so far I think what your favorite's been what? The Birdcage. That's been your favorite.
Birdcage. I like When Harry Met Sally as well.
Oh yeah.
And I want to say there was one more, but I can't think of it right now. Oh, Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
Yeah, that one as well. But yeah, check out the most recent episode of that. How Would It Impact Zone? As I've mentioned recently, we just got into 2008. We've been on 2007 forever. So starting a different year gives me a whole new hope that maybe one day it'll get better. Matt Souza tells me it won't. So I'm inclined to believe him. YouTube Roulette, we did the anniversary special for the Backbone. We just turned 2 years old. So we just did the anniversary special for that. Meltzer Knows Best. Recording the next a couple episodes of that tomorrow night. I believe as of this, when this drops, the 4th episode will have just dropped as well. Are You Smarter Than Vince Russo's WCW? We are about to get to Great American Bash 2000. It's about goddamn time. We've been building to it for fucking 6 months, it feels like. And then Keithie mentioned the North-South Connection, but the only thing I have over there is Talking Docs. We'll see when we record a new episode of that, but we are on our natural disaster season, so we'll see what depressing event that we have to cover on that coming up soon. So, yeah, thank you for joining us. Continue to check us out here on the Backbone Wrestling Network, and hopefully we did not fail this pod.